Flames spiral violently through the rocky canyon as explosive forces tear through the desert landscape. "I've finished everything," Debo declares, his voice cutting through the silence. "Let's go," Aaron says simply as he walks ahead through the desert landscape, while Debo follows behind. Debo acknowledges quietly, "I understand," as they stand together in the vast desert canyon. Two small figures move through the desert canyon as footsteps echo against the towering stone walls, and someone quietly says, "Huh." Debo wipes sweat from his brow, wondering aloud if there are any crazy people around, then dismisses the thought, since he's heard that skilled fighters sometimes use fire arrows in combat. Aaron responds that working with such skilled practitioners might actually be possible, adding that it's been 7 generations since they last appeared. Debo grins widely as he stretches his arms, declaring that even treating patients and living expenses are just the right level of activity, while Aaron quietly responds that he found it among the towering tree stumps scattered across the barren landscape. Someone declares they should find a different stump. Aaron speaks from behind as they rest against the rocky outcropping. "Here, let's dry your clothes properly," he says, then adds quietly, "Well, just follow me." Debo looks up with wide, uncertain eyes. "Follow? Follow you where?" he asks. Debo rests quietly against the stone, his breathing steady as he recovers from their ordeal. Aaron stands silently behind him, his dark cloak billowing in the desert wind as Debo questions with confusion in his voice. Aaron leaps across rooftops through the night city, question marks floating above him as confusion clouds his mind. A sword blade crashes into the rocky desert ground, sending up a spray of dust and debris. Red energy crackles and surges through the air in violent arcs. Aaron plummets from above, while a massive creature with glowing orange eyes emerges from below, its speech bubble containing only a question mark. Flames burst across the rocky surface as red energy pulses through the chaos. Debo strikes with his blazing weapon as debris explodes around him in the rocky terrain. Multiple dark creatures with glowing yellow eyes emerge from the shadows, their forms twisted and menacing. Aaron gasps heavily, his face flushed and strained. "Damn it, I alone dealt with these guys," he pants. "This weapon is the first I've seen with such incredible distance." A voice calls out through the rocky terrain. "This time we're short 10 lives too." Debo struggles on the ground, bleeding and battered, as dark creatures with glowing eyes loom above him. "This crazy bastard is too strong," he gasps. Aaron watches the magical flames erupting from the rocky desert terrain and reflects quietly. It was just scary, but it's actually quite difficult. Aaron reflects that he can only fight using brute force, but Pulam makes him feel the strongest when he trusts in himself. Aaron reflects that talent is something one desperately needs, while Pulam's hero Aaron can only choose brute force. The scene fades into darkness. A massive creature with glowing eyes roars "Justice!" as it crashes through the rocky terrain. Aaron lies sprawled on the ground among debris and flames, asking what, as a voice questions if this is enough, and whether he can endure more pain. Debo hurtles through the air from the massive impact, his body spinning as he thinks, "I can't dodge this power. Maybe I should be more careful from here on." While a dark creature below declares, "It's been a while since I've been this serious, but this is much more fun." Aaron spins through the air in a whirling arc of motion, his dark form cutting through the desert landscape. Aaron crashes down hard, sending up a spray of sand and debris as he hits the ground. Debo blocks the massive creature's crushing blow with his crossed arms, the impact sending shockwaves through the rocky terrain. The impact sends shockwaves through the ground as red energy slashes tear across the scene. Aaron steadies himself against the desert wind. "I sensed a spirit's presence for just a moment," he says. Aaron speaks from the shadows. "Not yet. I wasn't fully prepared, but is this really the extent of it?" Daibo crashes hard into the rocky ground as debris rains down around him. Aran cries out in shock as the impact hits. Debo struggles against the rocky surface as flames erupt around him. "Now, right now," he gasps. The rocky ground explodes in a thunderous blast, sending debris and dust cascading through the air. Flames surge upward from the shattered canyon floor as chunks of stone tumble down from above. Debo crouches among the settling debris, looking up with surprise as he exclaims in confusion. A massive dark shape crashes down through swirling debris and scattered stone. Aaron emerges from the destruction, his imposing silhouette marked with glowing stripes as he lets out a fierce roar. Debo crashes to the ground hard, his spear clattering away as he gasps in pain and disbelief. Aaron demands to know what's happening as dark tendrils surge around him. Aaron hurtles through the air, his body surrounded by streaks of yellow energy as the force of impact sends him flying backward. Aaron crashes into the rocky ground with tremendous force, sending debris and dust exploding outward in all directions. Debo raises his hand defensively and cries out in alarm. Massive flames surge upward through the rocky terrain with explosive force. Debo struggles against the intense flames, crying out that this is not good. The fiery energy swirls through the air as someone declares it's getting too dangerous to face. The character grins fiercely and declares that this is against the law. Massive claws slash downward through the air with tremendous force. The attack strikes with devastating force as Aaron exclaims, "I got it." Aaron reflects that the reaction was faster than expected, then notes flame activation. Energy erupts in brilliant streaks of light as the powerful attack connects with explosive force. The shockwave tears through the rocky terrain, sending debris flying in all directions. One step. The massive form looms overhead as energy crackles through the air. The impact sends Aaron flying backward through the rocky canyon with tremendous force. Dark hair spreads across the ground as someone lies motionless. Aaron's wide eye stares upward as he whispers, "Is this blocked too?" A voice calls out urgently, "Doctor, the law won't work either." A massive dark creature with glowing yellow eyes looms overhead as Aaron desperately shouts, "How can we barely defeat it? We need to kill it to survive." While Debo grimly observes, the attack isn't working, and notes if it hadn't passed through, it would have been blocked too, before concluding, that's the problem. The rocky surface cracks and crumbles as massive force tears through the canyon floor. Aaron and Debo plummet through the collapsing stone as debris rains down around them. Debo crashes hard against the rocky ground as debris scatters around him. Aaron's dark form plunges through swirling cyan energy as red streaks cut through the air. Debo's face contorts in anguish as he cries out from the impact. His hand glows with cyan energy as he struggles against the rocky surface. Aaron crashes through the rocky terrain with tremendous force, sending debris and energy cascading through the air as he exclaims in surprise. Cyan energy erupts from the impact point as rocks and debris scatter through the air. Eren hurtles through the sky with explosive force, leaving a trail of motion lines in his wake. Chief, wait. Debo coughs and breathes heavily as he struggles to recover. Dark, tree-like creatures with glowing amber eyes emerge from the rocky ground as Debo calls out in confusion. What? When? A hand reaches out desperately as flames and debris explode outward, and a voice cries out, "What the hell is that?" Aran breathes heavily, his face illuminated by the orange glow of distant fires. Fire erupts in a violent explosion around Eren's dark silhouette. The blast sends flames cascading across the rocky ground as debris scatters through the air. Debo's eyes widen in alarm. Ugh, there's no way to sleep with all this noise, he shouts, then adds urgently, "Now it's time to run." Flames surge upward through the rocky canyon as an explosion tears through the landscape. Debo calls out desperately through the chaos. "Over there! Over there!" Glowing eyes pierce through the darkness as energy surges around the rocky formation. Golden flames surge upward through the rocky formation as energy crackles and splits the stone. Debo gasps in shock. "What? Again?" Aran screams as brilliant energy streams past him in radiant lines of light. Golden flames engulf Eren as he grips his weapon, his eyes blazing with fierce determination. The blazing energy erupts with tremendous force as a voice declares that his blade is faster than thought itself. Eren steadies himself amid the flames and responds that dodging while hiding will be impossible. The explosive energy reaches its peak as fierce flames and swirling forces collide in a burst of raw power. Debo calls out, but still, as the intense magical forces continue to rage around them, Debo warns that he can detect two demonic auras approaching their location in the city right now. Aran unleashes a blazing spiral attack that engulfs the tree creature in towering flames as he shouts, "Strike!" Debo grins fiercely as he grips his weapon, declaring, "Awesome," before announcing he'll hide another fire arrow behind the first one. Debo shouts that no matter how much they discover, they've never encountered such consecutive attacks before. The tree creature strikes back with devastating force as Debo realizes this must be what having no stamina feels like. Debo grits his teeth through the pain, declaring that this creature is far more terrifying than he thought. His face contorts with fierce determination as he gasps out a single word of defiance. Aran cries out, "No way," as he battles against multiple shadowy creatures with glowing eyes, red energy slashing through the air around him. "Stop! Be careful!" Eren shouts as the combat continues. Debo screams in terror. "Stop! You're being too reckless. A few more hits and you'll die." Explosive energy bursts tear through the rocky canyon as debris flies in all directions. A brilliant energy blade slices through the air with tremendous force. Eren grins fiercely. "Can't you handle it properly?" he taunts. A massive dark creature with glowing yellow eyes looms menacingly through falling debris. The beast erupts in a fiery explosion as destructive forces tear through its form. Aran strikes with devastating force, his blade cutting through the air with lethal precision. The impact sends shockwaves rippling outward as Eren's attack finds its mark. The explosive impact reverberates through the rocky terrain, as someone observed that even a brief glimpse would reveal the opening. Eren plunges downward through the fractured canyon with fluid motion. A massive oval portal tears open with spiraling energy. Aaron's face emerges from the dimensional rift, his expression focused and determined. He crashes through solid rock with tremendous force. A hand reaches across scattered papers on the ground. Aaron strikes with tremendous force as purple energy erupts around him. "White!" he shouts. Debo exclaims in surprise as he finds himself caught in an unexpected situation. A devastating attack crashes down with explosive force, sending debris flying through the air. Debo gasps heavily, struggling to catch his breath as exhaustion weighs on him. A determined smile crosses his face despite the fatigue.